Hmm? I know about something apparently.
Well,
I don't know what I know about. This is a weird Socrates moment. I don't know what I know about. Oh, apparently chat can hear me.
Apparently, at some point, the audio changed and you guys have been audible for ages.
well, thank God we haven't been talking about
That could have gone poorly.
butts.
Whatever. That wasn't the case minutes ago. I don't know what changed. Who knows? Must have accidentally done a button. Oh, I did definitely accidentally a button. Basically, I accidentally did all the buttons. Turns out, all the buttons are wrong. I might have something pressing a button automatically somewhere, or I might be haunted. But whatever, that's fine. You know, sometimes the
Haunted
show
by me.
Sometimes the show begins on disaster, and those are usually the best ones, right?
No, it's not a disaster. It's a soft intro, and it was completely planned.
I mean, saying haunted by me is actually quite fitting because no matter how many times Ollie kills me, he just can't get rid of me. I just keep
You
coming
can
back.
leave. You can die whenever you want, but you can never leave. There we go. I didn't think that through. Hey, welcome to Narashiro Mind Over Matter. I have no idea what's going on today, apparently. I would call them technical issues, but I don't even know. Technical things are happening.
Just issues.
Technicals are happening. Mere technicals. So,
Technicality.
we're here with Mind Over Matter, our Underrealm campaign starring Mind Flayers, Pregnant Driders, and a dwarf. There's no Neil! Tumulus has, of course, left the campaign for a little while.
I'm sorry, Neil. I love you, really.
I don't think he's here yet, so you could say whatever you want. Of course, today's session is going to deal with the aftermath of the last, as it will forever, ad infinitum, continuing an Ouroboros that eats its own tail until eventually I'm too weary to DM. But, you are heading back to Narashiro after cleansing the Fanged Asylum of some of its evils. You need the aid of serious professionals to fully cleanse it and make it a safe place for the Spiderkin who live there.
You know who we're gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
5K?
I just want to point out that
I
was completely
apologize.
unplanned.
Yeah.
On behalf of everything, I'm sorry.
On behalf of everyone, I'm not sorry.
That's how it is. That was rubbish. You're seriously getting married with high fives like that? I mean, come
That was
on.
the most tepid high five I've ever seen, and I have a toddler.
I'm trying to get the high fives better, I swear. I'm trying to say to put your elbow into it. Put your
It is.
elbow-
That's the secret, right? It's the elbow.
Okay, now ready?
That just makes me in my head.
There you go!
Yeah, but it
That's
doesn't
how
count if you're
it is.
bracing the arm for the high five. This is a tool-assisted high five, and therefore not leaderboard compatible.
It's because Ian is secretly a Japanese woman. No, it's... when you meet someone. Anyway, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Let's carry on.
Okay, so, last time, on the way back to Narashiro, you bid goodbye to Tumulus and Drea Mori, your samurai, who have left together to go to the House of Mori, which researches the soul. And being undead, but also having a soul, seemingly, Tumulus is, of course, of great interest to them. So they have gone off to pastures anew, while you are going to Narashiro to look for professionals to bust some ghosts. We join today as you're entering the city. Hence, you can hear the rain and the sound of music as you get closer and closer to the monolithic city that is Narashiro, with twisting spires and smokestacks going up as high as the eye can see, all lit from above by a maelstrom of tumultuous magic. Where is it that you guys really want to go? Entering the city is, as always, no problem. You can find a place to stable your beetle. There's some minor spats going on in the marketplace when you enter. There's someone who's got taking up a large swath of the marketplace with fungal wood furniture of a fairly nice quality, and another merchant is very perturbed that like their space is being encroached on. It's a whole thing.
When you said fungal wood, my imagination was like, it's that, you know, the foam, the green foam that they put plants in.
Oasis.
To keep it wet? It feels like that, where it's wood, but it has a give.
Yeah, untreated fungal wood definitely is like that. As is some real woods.
But like you get to like make your grooves. Anyway.
Most usurper elves don't have enough of a butt to make a groove. Oshun is the exception. What are you guys fancying? As a DM, I will give you the caveats that you've already talked about this a bunch. You kind of have two options you've discussed. Going to Cinnabel and the Snake Church, or going to Lady Variance and the Palace Arcanum, whether you want a arcane solution or a divine solution. There's also other stuff you could get done in the city. For instance, Ashal has a magic cloak and doesn't know what it does. Could be a good thing to get checked out by the Palace Arcanum or anyone else. And if you have other ideas, do certainly let me know. But what is on the job?
I would definitely want to. I think Ashal would not want to go to the Palace Arcanum, or probably want to go to like any. It's probably going to be very awkward about this and want to like effectively find a back alley magician.
Yeah, that's absolutely an option.
Because Ashal is like creepy in the shadows sort of being. So it's going to hunt around for someone like that to identify this cloak.
Do you want to do that?
Children's leash.
Do you want to do that on your own, or do you want to do that with the rest of the party as you enter the city?
Ashal will say, I wish to get this cloak identified. Do you wish to do that as a group, or should I go my own way for a time?
You can go your own way.
Is that how the ocean responds?
Yeah,
She is a diva.
She just backs up, just like.
Ashal, if you wouldn't mind, I could accompany you. I have some experience with the underbelly of magical trade.
As do I, although not in this city. But yes, if you so wish.
Is that alright, Oshun? Can you handle the issue at hand without us?
We can meet up with you, but I assume you are going to the Serpent's Church?
Hey. That's exactly what Oshun is going to do. Oshun's a little subdued, but it's a hard balance to, like everything with Oshun, to like navigate, where Mama is like, emotions are healthy, always feel the thing, never be ashamed to cry, but also Mama cannot be seen to cry because that would be too distressing. So like, she's sad, she's gonna go up to Cinnabon's place, give them the lowdown, and just have a nice cup of tea and chill out with this person.
Who wants to go first? The nerds or the mums?
Yeah, we're going to our back alley chess club.
Yes! That's definitely a thing. Back alley games, a trader run. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Let's do the nerds first.
Man rules though. Like, if you go to South Italy and you go to like a bar for old men, they'll be playing Italian card games, and you better not even think about fucking cheating, because they will shank a bitch.
Hell yeah. That is what the gamer scene is like in Narashiro. If you whip out a Chinese Charizard, you're dead. Alright. I want an investigation check. Why don't you do it with advantage, Ashal? Because, you know, you're both sort of working. And this is the kind of thing as well that you're generally quite good at. You know, it makes sense for Ashal to look on...
I mean, 13.
Well, the thing is, your DCs are lower because you are good at this, right?
Yeah.
You are... The thing is that the low roll means this is going to take a while. But as a magical hermit yourself, you are aware of where to find other magical hermits, even in cities, and often it's easier to operate in a city where there are easier reagents, rubes to do basic jobs for you, and other people to share knowledge. You end up heading quite deep into the city. The area that you visited, that bathhouse and that tavern in, where it's not quite the slums of Narashiro, but it is under the factories and farms which are oozing pollution. So it's not exactly the most pleasant place. You send out your feelers quite literally, and the both of you end up finding a little magic shop that is off the beaten path and has no labeling. It's a complete hidden word of mouth place alone. When you knock at the door, it is firmly locked. And you hear a sort of just a minute, and and the door opens. There's no one waiting at the door, of course, and reveals a fairly large chamber. It looks like this was probably a warehouse that has been refitted into a mage's quarter. There is desks in the middle arranged in a circle. They are not like designed to be, but it has been arranged in such a way. There's some magical devices hanging from the ceiling, some in corners, some covered, some dusty. It's a hodgepodge of things, and exactly the kind of person that I think Ashal would trust much more than a court licensed magician. This does mean this is illegal. This is unlicensed arcana, but
This isn't my city.
this isn't your city. The mage of mention, at first you're not sure what they might be, because while they look like a usurper elf in most ways, they have a beard. They have a long, white, straight beard that doesn't quite come up to the mustache. Very well maintained, and similar long white hair. The rest of their garb really speaks magical hermit, not too dissimilar to how Charles dressed before. The clothes probably were nice, but haven't been washed in a while, and are stained with soot and gold dust and all sorts of things that a mage needs. They are working away on things, and will kind of wave a hand at you and like, I don't think I know exactly who you are, but if you found this place and are not wielding a halberd at me, then I assume you are a customer and not Johnny Law.
At that, Boggart will take his poleaxe and just lean it up against the doorframe.
Yes, I
Actually-
come from...
It doesn't matter. Carry on.
Yes, I am not, or I have not been a regular in this city. I seek identification of a magical item. It is not within my own repertoire.
Ah.
If I may say so, this place piques my interest as well. These items are curious and interesting, if I may look around.
You may look, but be careful what it is exactly that you touch. I
He
have...
like wiggles his butt and is like, you can look.
You can look. I have so many alchemical and arcane devices here that I, quite frankly, do not remember exactly which and why each one and what they do. So I would be careful what you grasp at, but hand me over the curiosity of Arcana, and I can take a look. Of course, with a some on the side for reagents and work and furnishing and general toils of 70 gold.
As Charles will just like nod, not in like in a pleasant way. It's just as Charles' like voice is like
Yeah.
painful. Takes off the cloak and will just pull out like 70 gold coins and hand them both over, and then like assuming that this guy is going to look at it, will start just wandering around and not poking things, but poking things with their eyes.
What would you like to do, Bogdan?
I think Bogdan will kind of do the same. He's gonna take inventory, see if anything jumps out at him.
Jumps out at him.
While these tools
skin
are things that are clearly mostly wizardly in nature, there's not a whole lot that you would completely recognize. For both of you, actually. A lot of gold and brass concoctions, wheels, globes, celestial maps that are faded and old. What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Smash has made a comment that he liked my beard, so he's
I've
showing
been
off.
trying to get him to twist the ends for months.
It actually looks pretty cool like that. I'm not gonna deny it. At some point, the both of you, as you're going around, notice a wicker basket weaved from mushroom threads on the ground with things on top of it. A book, a clock, things like that. But you notice it because it moves. It's down, and it moves and bumps into something and stops. Not quite bumping into either of you, but like close.
Before I go opening this lid, if I reach out with my telepathy, can I like touch the mind of this whatever's in this box?
You feel. Give me an intelligence check.
I know I'm not very good at this, but
Yeah.
I'm a bit more cautious than just to open the lid. Oh, I don't know. Well, yeah, fine.
It's a fucking chicken.
You feel something, but you feel nothing.
Okay. I shall look at Bogdan and say, "Is your curiosity piqued?"
No, the end.
Be my guest.
I shall bend down and very carefully just shift it enough so they can look in without.
You have to.
actually letting
It's a basket upside down, so you have to lift it.
You have to lift it. So,
Or
okay,
you can get down on the ground and lift it just a
I
little.
shall will get down as close to the ground. And just like,
Break his knees. They touch the ground.
You see a singular eye looking back at you that glows just enough in the gloom, and you can see it kind of twist as it focuses on you.
It's a cat. It's a kitten. It's now your best
I
friend.
want it. I don't know what it is, but I want it.
It would be easier to tell what it is if you lifted the whole basket.
I shall will look to Bogdan and say, "Be prepared to catch it." And without like waiting for a response, we'll lift the basket.
What do you see?
As he's
Yeah, go ahead.
As he lifts the basket, Bogdan is just like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna catch it." No, I'm just
Just steps back like, nah. What you see in the basket, when you lift the basket, is a small thing with 2 arms and 2 legs. The center of it appears to be a ball of kind of jelly-like substance, very dark. It's kind of like you can see stars within it. Around that ball are these metal and stone components that are not fully enclosing, but they make up joints, and arms, and legs, and the eye, which is is a mechanical aperture. You can now see quite clearly because when you move the lid, it goes like opens the aperture as much as possible. It goes, and then from its back, 2 are going to spring up, and then they're going to unfold into propellers, and they're going to whir, and it's going to and take up into the ceiling and start clattering around.
How you describe this as like as an adapted warehouse, right?
Yeah.
I presume then that the ceiling is more than about 10 foot up.
Yeah, but if you wanted to give me a check to try and catch it, I will allow it to be an acrobatics check.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, because I can float up to my intelligence mod, so that's 4 feet, and I'm 6'7" height. So.
So it is higher than that, but there's also a lot of shit on the ceiling and like shelves and like things like that, and it's like bumping around like a bee that's trapped in a room.
I definitely want to try and catch this thing. What check would you
acrobatics
like?
Check. Ian's hopes dashed.
Before I do this,
You get an enhance ability, yeah, of course.
Grace, yeah.
Good idea.
A 2nd level spell to catch this thing.
Absolutely.
You know what?
15's pretty good. You do kind of spring up and grab it quick enough. It's one of those things where you take a moment to kind of like work out what like it's doing, and then you could just kind of grab it in one. And when you grab it in your arms, it's very light. It's incredibly light, and so you can hold it quite easily. And it just starts wiggling, and struggling, but in a very ineffectual way.
Is there like any obvious sort of like something to detract?
It's all simple enough mechanics. It looks like if you just pushed down on the propellers, they would close up.
I will do that then.
While he's doing this, Bogdan calmly walks up to the counter and says, "How much for the gyrating golem?"
That really... Gosh. I mean, if you'd like to take it off my hands, I would definitely not complain. That would be very practical. I suppose 20 gold pieces, if I were to put a price on it.
You should be paying you to get rid of this shit.
Ashal will float back down and like float over, and we'll just put 20 gold like next to him again.
No. As Ashal's reaching for his coin, Bogdan will be like, no. and then Bogdan will say, 10.
Give me a persuasion check. There's always one in the party. Fine, if you are so light on funds, I suppose
Then he'll take his arm off of...
I can part with my dear companion.
And then he'll take his arm off of Ashal, being like, "Okay, there you go, 10."
I nearly spat.
Ashal will hand over the 10 gold, and then we'll just try to examine this thing as much as they can without like letting the wings come back out.
Like you've got the hand on where the wings are and it's impossible science, right? The propellers have, I mean, it's like a radio antenna at first, but then it's just into nothing. But you know, if you move your hands, they're just going to spring out again. It is looking at you while you are looking at it. But you can give me an intel. What kind of check do you want to make for examining this thing? I suppose.
It's Ashal. Ashal would want to make an Arcana check.
Gonna taste.
Sure.
Come on.
That's a really good check.
We have to honor him.
You
19.
recognize over a little bit of time of looking that this is obviously not a golem, or a homunculus, or a familiar, or anything made by this guy. It is an extraplanar entity, the specifics of which you don't exactly know, but it is extraplanar, it has a well of extraplanar energy inside it that is the jelly, which is not that strong. It's a very weak extraplanar entity. Something that would usually arrive in swarms, probably. You get the realization that, yeah, this thing probably... You don't know how this guy got a hold of it, but he's not, like, bound by magic or anything, either. It's just... He put it in a basket just to stop it. But being extraplanar, you could probably bind it with magic if you took the time to work out exactly its specifics. You've got a good idea, but you would need more study to work out exactly what it is and where it's from. But extraplanar, not fiendish, not fell, not fey, not an angel. Or maybe.
Okay.
It can fly.
Ashal is going to... Firstly, Ashal will pull out some rope and we'll just say to Bogdan, help me tie where its wing, where those things would come out.
No, you tie it around the body, let it fly, and then you...
It's like a balloon.
Why don't we tie it to your chest like a baby carrier?
That is another option. And Ashal, while they're doing this, Ashal will just like say a couple of sentences in every language they know. Like I know you've said that it's not fell or fiendish or anything, but
But you never know. Yeah.
Just seeing if it seems to respond to any of them.
What does Ashal say?
Do you understand my speech or something about
You
effect
are
in
now
each
my
language?
friend.
Disregard Mario, obey Wario. Yeah, you speak at it. It doesn't really seem to understand. Occasionally, when you speak, it does toot back. There seems to be under the eyepiece what looks like brass pan flutes, and occasionally they open up and make a little noise. Yeah, kinda.
Okay, as Charlotte is satisfied with having now a strange extraplanar entity tied to them like a baby, and is going to just content themselves with examining this and beginning to think out how to like bind it while this chap
Shun's a grandma.
while this chap continues to identify
the chap does identify it, takes some glasses off, puts them up on his forehead.
The chap got the ollie. Oh, he's back. You froze there.
We heard the chap dog.
The chap, and then you just froze.
The chap did identify it, and we'll tell you that this is a cloak made of Shadow Realm materials. Quite interesting. Grant you protection from the darkness, but made swiftly and simply. While it protects you from the darkness, it would quite put you vulnerable to the light. But I think there is some value in the darkness it carries around you. If you wield it right. He will like kind of just wrap it up and hold it back to you.
My thanks.
Now, what color is your baby swaddle?
I mean, it's
What kind of
random
fabric?
rope. I have
Brown.
hempen rope, so it's brown.
Rope color.
And as Shah will just look at Bogdan in a you done sort of way.
Did Bogdan see anything that might help him further study abjuration and evocation magic, or was it just mislabeled junk?
It would take a lot more time to like sort through it.
Yeah.
Definitely,
I
like
think
a come
Bogdan-
back here with downtime, you could probably find something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Bogdan will just remember this location and then be like,
Yeah.
"I'm ready to go, Vior."
Yes, this place is quite the house of curios and one I wish to spend more time in. But for now, we must reconvene with our companion.
Do
Okay.
you have a business card?
And yeah, we'll nod at the proprietor on their way out.
Follow me on
Alrighty.
Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Follow his socials, and you can head out. You can start heading towards the Holy District, where Oshun is right now. You would have head to the Holy District to see and speak with Cinnabelle, but to your dismay, where she usually is, in an amphitheater in part of the Serpent Church, she's not there.
The sketch, as you will.
Yes. Serge. Serge. She's not in her usual spot, which, to be fair, is just a place she happens to be relaxing most of the time you get here.
Basking, you mean?
Basking, yeah, because there's the little light circle.
But I want tea!
Yeah, do you go through the facility looking for her?
I'll cast about the sort of general, like, alcoves, look into, like, the office, and sort of head towards the back room that her apartments are in.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be in, like, the upper echelons, but, like...
Nah, she lives here. She lives here. You can maybe even ask the occasional priest and priestess of the order, and eventually would find that Cinnabelle is in her private chambers, and you can head towards them. They have an appropriately large archway for a door for large ladies to enter. And Cinnabelle's room is kind of the opposite of that old mage's room. It has stuff in it, but everything's very deliberate. It's soft in some places with long lounging couches.
Long
Lounging couches because she's a snake. Like posts that go from ceiling to floor with like flowers and like candles on them. Pleasant scent from the perfumes and incense. There is a mosaic display on the far wall. So if you enter, it's like a curved wall on the back, and you see it immediately. And it is actually, can you give me a religion check, Ocean?
Yep.
I will add that Cinnabelle is the only person in this room right now. It is not currently a strip club, but you know what? You never know.
What kind of place have you ever been to where the floors aren't sticky and are in fact have shalong?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Narashiro. I've already described
I was
it.
going
Like,
to say a Lamia strip club.
there's already been like a plot in the other show where they did go to a strip club, and it was kind of like this. So.
And like, I was refraining from getting horny on Maine, okay? I was refraining from being like, she's gonna turn around and say, "You've come upon me." But then y'all went there, okay? What was I rolling?
Religion. Another thing of note is that there are bookshelves and things in this room, and tinkering tables, wine rack in the corner of one wall with lots of bottles in it. And while there is no door, there is a blanketing curtain that, until you move it aside, like when you move it aside, you can hear Cinnabelle humming. A completely soundproof curtain for privacy, but also no like locks or anything like that. You don't immediately recognize the mosaic on the far wall. It is of this luscious green place. It's like a kind of overgrown bathhouse, but also overgrown with algae and mushrooms, and there's a lot of Lamia there, and also regular usurper elves, and also driders, and it's very much in the vein of like an old Renaissance painting in a church or something. But these bathing Lamia.
Clarification, all three of us are here?
No, just
okay.
her right now. You guys are heading there, but she's here way in advance.
Cool. Cool.
Cinnabelle is sitting in one of the many. There's like a curl in the lounging chair where she can curl up with her long tail, and she is reading a large book. And there are other books on the edge of the chair. There is a glass of red liquid, which may be wine, may not be, and she.
There not be anything remaining from Oshun.
The most intimate act.
Not exactly the most comfortable.
Uh,
Over.
Cinnabelle will of course realize when you enter the room and will just kind of immediately perk up and be like, darling.
Oshun will just sort of come in as if she'd always been there, sit down on like the tactile sort of nest with her, pick up a book, and I think they're just going to read in companionable silence, or at least like in the beginning.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair. After a little while of that, and like a loop of her long tail will like kind of like rest around like your legs or something. It's not like you get completely swaddled.
What I would give for the whole swaddle. I'd be like,
If you asked, you would probably get the full Lamia hug.
probably later.
Snug.
That's
Yeah. Because it like once you get coiled up, much like Pokemon Red and Blue, it's very hard to get unwrapped after a wrap attack. Because they had a glitch in the system where the wrap move would last. Anyway, yeah. So after a little bit of comfortable silence, and she's reading like a big old tome too, and the book you pick up, it would be magic stuff. It would be the kind of thing that Ashar would be much more interested in.
I'm sorry. Someone says, "What have I walked into?" And Slashes just goes, "Squeeze me, Lamia, mummy."
Look. There's a mature content tag on this stream for a reason. Yeah, the books that
Cakes are moist. They're smooth.
Yeah. She's not a slimy snake.
Cakes aren't slimy. Very soft. They're very good boys. They're puppies without arms. They don't
And in
realise
fact,
they don't-
you know, valid thing that I just thought about, in this Cinnabelle's private chamber, there would be essentially a rubbing pole like you would have for a cat that she uses to get the shed skin off. Because that's a huge part of her life, and it's like a comfort thing. It's like a grooming thing. Yeah.
Just for clarification, you said she has a pole which she sheds for outer layers.
It was always a strip club. Strip clubs all the way down.
Strip clubs all the way down.
But yeah, the
That's
books
just
she has are not arcane in nature, but magical in nature. They're magic information books, not spell books.
So the internet.
Yeah, she's basic. She's clearly doing a Wikipedia search on some kinds of magic, and these pack of books is about something. You would be reading like the foreword of this book you picked up and not necessarily understanding the deep specifics, because it's not like divine magic she's researching either. So
No. I'd skip back to the notes and the bibliography and just be like, I'm just gonna pretend that.
I'm gonna pretend I'm reading. I'm gonna look at the pictures for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When you do eventually talk with her, what would you what would you do?
She's going to just sort of relay all of the stuff that happened.
Everything?
Probably her feelings about it than she would have shared with the group. Because her feelings aren't what's important at that moment unless she's conveying it for a purpose. It's everyone else's feelings and managing
Right.
their care. And not their care is in to like put them in a little cage or whatever, but their care is in, are you expressing what you want to express? Are there any other thoughts that you're having difficulty with this about? That sort of stuff.
Sure.
And so yeah, with Cinnabon, she gets to just be a tired parent.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's also one of those people.
Occasionally.
She's one of those people too who will not give you answers to the open-ended questions you let out, and not do the thing that I always do, where it's like, oh, well, I had a situation once where blah 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 blah. No, she just like listens and occasionally reacts, but very subtly. And she will.
Sorry, Jake, you have a problem with my idea of parenthood?
Sounds illegal.
Cinnabelle will, and at this point, you're in much more of a coil, right? As the conversation continues, it's one of those things you don't notice how much her tail has wrapped around you until you do, as is the case with sharing a couch with a Lamia.
Like a cartoon, and she begins to turn, and she's like just talking and turning, then you realise it come up to like the neck.
Well, darling, it sounds like you've gone through an awful lot in such a short time.
Well, as you know, I have no problem with going through ringer. It's what we do, especially like in our area. It's just these. You know, I'm used to being a questioned authority here. I've been questioned ever since I first arrived, and Ivrith was. She questioned herself as a voice that spoke to me. But being questioned by those that I'm trying to care about, and I care for, it feels as though it gets under my skin, and I'm not used to feeling that way, I suppose. I suppose I could say that my patience is being tested. And that's very difficult to say, because I can't really say that I thought that my patience could ever be tested. You know?
As is the pain of the patient, I suppose.
Yes. Well, all I want to do is what you would like to do this evening. Honestly, if I can get away with not making any more decisions, I would be extremely happy.
Well, I was supposed to spend some time with a young noble who needed some assistance, but I would much rather spend the time with you instead.
Oh, please, I would hate to put you out. You can leave me here and I'll crack on with a good book.
There are books that might be more to your liking in the library. I don't suppose you would be all that interested in learning about the ash plains of Bol. She said, and it's only at this point that she closes the book she's had, and it does like dust. Yeah.
Smells like vanilla. That's the decomposition.
Okay, librarians. Yes, well, you're more than welcome to stay here as long as you need. I can accompany you come evening. Where are the rest of your... What was the rest of your little flock, I suppose?
Trash babies.
Where are the rest of your menagerie?
Well, they went to have a certain cloak investigated, so I left them to it. They are grown.
She gives you like a look, cause like, okay, at some point you're gonna like be worried about them and go to find them probably.
Just all of this is conveyed by eye contact. Like, Cinnabelle is just like, and,
Yeah.
Ocean's just like,
Spend as much time as you need. If you do need my aid in the matters that you've been telling me all about, we can discuss it later. I would be glad to get out of my little roost and go on a grand adventure.
oh, that would be fun.
But it would be quite an undertaking.
I'd be worried about you.
Of course. A decadent lady like me is not fit for the road, but I'm sure we could make something work.
Well, fantastic. I think an evening off. I didn't do that right. An evening off.
And eating all.
An
Yeah.
evening off. And to business after that.
You may rest in
And
my
then-
chambers as long as you need, and we'll discuss what happens next when it happens, Ocean. You're starting to get ahead of yourself. She says with a small cackle as she all unfurls, will change the decadent jewelry she has on for different decadent jewelry, and sliver out of the chambers. When these two eventually...
She's gonna immediately lie on the bed and just be like, ah,
Yeah.
and then like lower back, feet. Would she take off her shoes?
I was having this question. Yeah, I was wondering the other day whether Ocean even like wore shoes. As like a giant.
No, she wears like thigh-high boots with like the kneecap of steel. They're flat, though, obviously.
Yes.
They're just-
Yeah, we're not going to be ridiculous with our big pregnant Dryder woman. You know, come on. This is a grounded world. So the giant snake MILF leaves the room, leaving you to recline on the bed. When your brain-eating sorcerer and dwarf return, would you invite them in? Would you go to find them? The people of this church, probably at the understanding of Cinnabelle, would... You know, someone would run up to you, kind of like a teen elf in swaddled in green robes would be like, "Oh, there's people here for you, Ocean." Like you are basically being treated like a high priestess here, with messages being sent and such. What are you gonna do with them when they come back?
Are they coming to the...
They've come to the Serpent Church. That's what you talked about before, is that they were going to meet you back up here. You could tell them, "Oh, go get a tavern. I'm sorting stuff out here."
A bit of a wine mom moment.
Oh.
Where I was like, Ocean's not fucking about with her posse, like, before tomorrow. These children can fuck off and entertain themselves for like...
Yeah, that's totally fair. We
Mommy's got a headache.
you cut back to the outside of the Serpent Church. It seems the Lady Ocean will be unable to meet with you for some time while she takes care of business of the church. You are free to do whatever it is you wish with the evening. I hope you have a very pleasant time and may the... Yeah, exactly, right? You're basically told to fuck off. So, what are you two gonna do?
And just like,
As Shao looks at Bogdan.
The little jelly orb will look at Bogdan.
Yes.
Well, to the usual inn, I suppose.
Yes, that sounds pleasant.
The Adventures of Bogdan, Ashal, and Orbrand.
Yeah. Okay. You guys go and get an inn. The inn here is not very expensive. Let me get the price so I can take your money.
Have you ever seen that SpongeBob episode where they're like, well, at least it's still light, and then the fucking like sky goes and it's like nighttime? That's what we just experienced.
That's what happens now that it's spring and summer. This stream, for us in England, it's like, the start of the stream, nice and sunny. An hour in, it's nighttime. It's
I was
crazy.
hoping to make it to break, but
No, I'm gonna be slowly disappearing into darkness until we get to break.
From above, like that, from below, like vampires, just like,
I'll do that. I can do that if we want. Yeah. It would be yeah, it'd be a matter of like 8 silver to get room and board and food and whatever you need in the tavern you spend you time in over here.
Done.
Yeah. And you guys can just rest, and Ocean can rest too, without having to worry about the children. Do you just like take a nap in Cinnavel's room for the long little while? Do you want to do anything in the Snake Church?
Yeah, she's just. Is there a fireplace or like a hot bath or something? Like
There is a bath within the church, like a
You'll have
a bathhouse area.
Hair of her hair, just like
Yeah.
she hasn't got afro hair, but there is a lot.
It's
of
massive. And also, yeah, I was gonna say the last like Ocean's hair was like being rubbed up against the spiderweb roof of like the cave and all. Like it needs like a good like day of like just caring for it. Cool. And there would be you know attendants in the church who would happy to do like you need a massage, you need your hair taken care of, and
can't see her feet, so like
yeah.
at some point it's gonna just like have to be bundled up and then like get the ends.
Would you want attendants to help you, or do you want to just kind of be by yourself?
I mean, it's
Okay, cool.
big. There's a lot of surface area.
Yeah. And the attendants here, I mean, the Serpent Church is a church based on fertility, protection, and family.
And
and she's all 3 of these things. She's being told to be treated like you know, to be respected. And also, the bathhouses in this church are in many ways part of service. I imagine if you wanted, you could pay some silver and basically, you know, receive whatever blessings while having a nice soak.
nice.
So it's like
Get a mani-pedi.
yeah. Because all of that self-care is ritual in one way, and here it is just taken to the next degree, and it's calming, it's comforting. You feel a degree of spiritual rejuvenation.
It's like she may have been concerned about the spider legs and her face, but she's at a point where she gives $0.
If ever any of the attendants are concerned, it would be the young ones who are quickly soothed by someone else. And this is one of the few places in Narashiro where you see children. They are hidden away everywhere else. But here, they're working in the bathhouse, getting, scrubbing people down. Yeah! Spirited Away up in here. I watched that the other day, and so gonna be on the nose.
Very good.
But it also just makes sense.
Anyway, I'm not going to talk about a video I watched.
After a while, you can go and meet back up with Cinnabelle after she's done her duties. She does have various debutante-ish duties to do amongst the city as a powerful priestess. Even if as a powerful priestess of the less respected side of the church. because the usurper elves largely prefer the backstabbing and spiders side to the love and snakes side. Cinderbell will meet back up with you and happily discuss whether you want to take her back to the Fanged Ruins. Is that the plan? She would have to take with her a couple of other attendants, probably 2, to help with the ritual.
Yes. Excellent. Yes, we can run this by the rest of the group, and then we can make this place safe for all the Spiderkin. It'd be fantastic, and I won't hypocritically stifle or control or worry about you too much.
Well, you can worry about me a little bit. I haven't been outside of Narashiro since I ascended. Which is not all that uncommon, but I am appropriately concerned.
Oh, I'm sure there's no need to be concerned. Just be... Speak as an equal to the High Priestess, and I'm sure she would take it as a sign of respect, and yes, she sees things there. She has a unique way of seeing things, and yes.
Does she know that I would be coming to these ruins?
No, but she didn't think we were coming either.
I suppose as daughters of Ivrith, she will not be too annoyed at our presence. Hopefully.
No. It seemed like all she wanted to do was ascend, and so, speaking to other ascended seems to validate her identity as one of us, especially since we share rather exaggerated features, blessings of Ivrith.
She laughs at that, and certain features of her body are exaggeratedly jiggling.
Oshun is not distracted.
Oshun is serious. It's work.
Unlike everyone else, I can actually bonk you with a horny hammer.
The horny hammer.
We'll sell them on the merch store. It's just a
Darn
baseball
it,
bat
I
with
think
horny
horny
on
on
the side.
Yes, she is quite distinctive.
She was distincted before she ascended, and if I remember correctly, not the largest friend of the Serpent Church. But she was more or less a puppet for the late Daimao.
Yes, all I know are the stories of relationship with the Daimao, and now she is left and ascended, got what she wants. She is following an inner voice she claims is Lady Ivrith, and she, as you know, she's requested me to assist her in some way. That reminds me, thank you for reminding me, I need to commune with Lady Ivrith in some way, or find a way to address this question of... I don't want to say this voice is not Lady Ivrith, but I want to make sure that our messages are in parallel, and that nothing has taken advantage of the priestess's faith.
It is the responsible thing to have doubts, although many would say your thought process is heretical. Though many would likely say that the mad priestess's mere existence in her current state is heresy.
I imagine that Cinnabelle and Oshun would probably do the gesture that they've usually done when bringing up heresy, because look at them. At
Yeah.
the same time, they might be like,
Yeah. Well, Cinnabelle isn't heretical. She's just of the other church. You are. She's like a...
she snaps with her spider legs.
The only weird thing about Cinnabelle's appearance as a Lamia is that her tail is ivory white, which is the color of the other side of the church, which is weird. But her hair is green, so it all kind of comes together. Yes.
Now I know who you were painting.
Yes. She does... She kind of listens for a little bit and thinks and ruminates. I may be able to assist you with communing with our queen.
Oh, she's so hot.
I have my ways. But that'll be a worry. That would be a worry for when we're on the road. There are so many prayers sent up to our goddess every... Actually, she would say sent down. Every prayer sent down to our goddess every moment in this city that messages can get confusing. When we are out on the road, as alone as two ascended can be, I will be able to assist you. Oh, I'll have to start packing.
Oh, do you have to start packing right away?
I suppose not.
Want to enjoy a cup of tea and some company.
Far too late in the evening for tea. It's time for wine. And she will take a bottle of wine with the end of her tail.
Watch her drinking. And
Yeah.
Like Oshun does.
That is funny because after she's poured herself a glass of wine, she'll just look at Oshun and like look down at the pregnant belly. Right. Despite being an avatar of fertility, I've not really experienced the current biological limitations I suppose you are under. Tea! We should have some tea brought in.
That's so funny.
And you can spend a lovely, pleasant night
They
with
won't.
Cinnabelle.
Okay.
Yes. Put it in the record. Put it on the wiki.
Write it down.
And actually, this is a
I'm
great
just
place.
I'm just gonna go on. I'm just gonna create a page for Oshun, but it's just a list of the people.
It could
she's
be at the
known.
bottom of the... It's in the trivia section, you know. her little black book. This is a great place for us to take a break. You know, refractory period and all that. So we'll be back after a couple of minutes. I need to turn some heckin' lights on. We'll see you after this. Okay, so for the nerds, just a day of rest, innit? Come the next morning, a lot of you are going to be getting back together by your beetle. The main difference being that there is now a giant snake woman accompanying Oshun and two priests of the Serpent Church, a priest and a priestess. They are carrying heavy bags that glank with the sound of glass and jewelry, and other bags are practically overflowing with fabrics, it seems. Cinnabelle does look a little different.
Kissing.
What are you doing?
I was saying she needed her ass kicking outfit.
Well, yeah, she's more got her, mom on the road outfit. Her hair is like tied back with like a little like bandana thing in like a triangle shape. She's got like, it kind of constitutes armor. She's not as naked as she is back in her home, as many of us are when we leave into the open world. The attendants will start like putting her things on the storage compartments of your beetle. Is designed to hold quite a lot of things. Yep. Although there won't be much room in the palanquin now that there's two giant women up there.
One can sit on the head, and one's a dwarf.
Ashal floats anyway.
Yeah, but you float at your own exhaustion.
Just tie Ashal to the back of the beetle, and all they have to do is stay up. They don't have to move forward.
Like, if you're like moving forwards and you're being projected at the same pace as your transport, if you then hover, will you continue with momentum? Because like once I was on a train and it was
Is it the jump thing?
And I jumped and I was like, whoo!
I'm not gonna answer this question of the physics. I'm just gonna say, Any questions, conversations, doubts before you head back off?
I mean, this was pretty expected.
Yeah.
Ashal is not one to have deep conversations with powerful figures. Or anyone. Ashal is one to well, yes, but Ashal is main reaction to powerful figures is to avoid them.
Cinnabelle would naturally end up, because your palanquin has 3 of its walls are chairs. Like, she would just wrap. Basically taking up all the space.
Oh God, darling, what did I say about manspreading?
She's very long.
Snake spreading?
Can't help it. I need space for everything.
She needs to let it all hang out. Okay, so you can head back off on the road. That topic you briefly had, Ocean, about communing with Ivrith. Cinnabelle doesn't think the time's right yet. Probably until all this is done.
Can you?
What was that?
You can't do it, can you?
No, Cinnabelle would.
Just the moon isn't alive.
If you want to have this conversation, you can have this conversation. Cinnabelle will actually show you something that she packed into her bags.
Not that, the other thing.
It is a bottle of wine.
Bitch.
Well, a bottle at the very least. A teal bottle, with spider web-like patterning all around it in silver, straight up silver, not like silvery color. And she will say that this can be used in a ritual that communes with our queen. But with so many questions in the air right now and who we're meeting, it might be safer to wait.
Appreciate that. However, as you'll come to understand, the atmosphere in this place is quite watched. One cannot always be sure where the priestess will be at any one time. So anything that we would like to discuss, I would like to do beyond the borders of this, what's that? This, where people camp, where people escape.
Refugee camp.
Thank you, darling.
If you would wish, I will just warn you that this is a involved and vigorous communion. If you are not mentally or physically ready for it, it can be quite taxing. I would suggest waiting until after the purification is done, when we are all resting after a job well done.
All right. I get to say it. All right.
You can say it as much as you want. It's your voice.
After, like, as they're traveling, as Shao will bring up at one point, what are we doing about the fire
Oh
thing?
shit! By the way, I'm pretty sure we mentioned this.
Might, I don't know. Did you mention it before?
I'm sure there was an expedition.
The
Exposition
fireworm.
done.
That's what it was.
Is it worm with a Y?
Probably.
Worm.
Worm. The fire
Worm.
worm.
That kind of day.
Yeah. Citadel will just kind of look with bright, wide eyes like, well, I was hoping the professional combat and monster specialist that you are had some sort of plan on how to avoid the thing.
Yes, well, so far our plan has been avoid expeditiously.
The difficulty there is if it hunts by vibrations. Shao just looks at Cinnabel's tail.
I am quite a heavy foot.
I just imagine her, like, she doesn't slither, she walks like...
And I take it that you and your fellow priests are not versed in combat.
No, and especially once we reach the place, we will be too far focused on forming the rituals and wards to fight in any way. I can, to use a term, smite a bitch when necessary, but I will be preoccupied.
That's the Oshun and Cinnabelle high five.
We have been trying to avoid it so far. This is to Oshun and Bogdan. But might it behoove us to eradicate this obstacle before we enter the camp this time, in the interest of your companion's safety and our own, potentially?
Well, we're assuming the beast is going to be there. It wasn't there last time.
It was not there that we saw.
True. I'm game to confront it, or to avoid it.
My only concern is that we need our strength. I have not at my most powerful. And we've recently lost 2 of our best fighters.
Perhaps before we get too far out of the city, we could turn around and hire some cell swords.
Samurai.
Or if the samurai are for hiring.
Well, would not imagine that you all could afford a samurai, but I suppose I could. It's an option. Although they would need their own transportation, which would raise the price even more. This poor beetle is already taxed as it is, aren't you, sweetie?
And it's like going.
Yeah, she would like lean around the palanquin and like pat the side of the beetle.
And it goes like legs in the air.
It's Oppa is a little slower than usual right now. It's an option. You totally could hire some mercenaries. I don't know what the price would be. But I could look it up if that's a thing you want to do. I know you actually discussed that might be kind of a thing that Ashal and Oshun at the very least would be very interested in doing.
I say we make one last run for it. We will be pushing our luck, but I think that it is an obstacle I do not care to, surmount at this point.
Alright, here's the plan. We'll go on foot. If it arrives, we shall face it in a fighting retreat. And if we're able to fell it, all the better. If not, we shall use our time wisely to put distance towards getting back to the Spiderling camp.
It could be that it is less powerful than we've given it credit for.
Fire centipede.
You're right. It could be much like the underdark hodgehog that puffs up when threatened. What was in this tea?
Oh, many things. Like,
We knew the risks. You are high.
Yeah, like there's no doubt. Like her hair's green for a reason. She blazing.
We understood the risks when we went out and fetched you, and we shall face them. Your safety, priestess? Is that the correct term?
You can call me what you want, darling.
Your protection is of our highest concern.
You got 2 hot mums now.
Is it like as Charles is just like it was like you can tell from the way the tentacles move. It's like the equivalent of sort of a resigned shake of the head, but it isn't going to say anything further.
What did you say? I was in another world. Yeah, it is that kind of day.
As Charles was just
Not into it.
Tentacles support suggests a resigned shake of the head.
The journey through the forest is swift. You know exactly where you're going. There's no road exactly where you're going. Eventually you leave the farm roads. Like I mentioned before, the farms are just starting to head into operation, and so they're quite busy, and there's a lot of people heading to work and groups who have, organized to for those who like seeing the people band together in the world at work and like things happen on a grand scale. It's quite satisfying watching the beginning of the farming season. But out in the forest, no roads. Woo! You're off-roading on the Beetle, but you know exactly where you're going. and eventually get within sight of the Fanged Ruins, where you know a fire centipede could be under the very stone on which your
Beetle does sick wheelies.
Skrrr!
That's what my dad used to say. He used
I
to
think
go.
Bogdan is going to lead the troop, and he's going to cast Mold Earth. You know, doing the same trick he did last
Same
time
thing
to see if, and he's going to see if he can, if this thing's out there, if he could get it to reveal itself.
As Charles will also like, they're trying to get a bit more practice because they realize this might actually be useful, like extending the telepathy out in just like a bubble almost, just to see if they get like a early warning from like below them, like a touch of a mind or something.
You guys can make perception checks if you wish.
All of us?
Anyone who
Oh,
does
never
so
mind.
But,
As
yeah,
Charles
I
still
would
doesn't
definitely-
have this down.
So, glad that you got a 20. You're doing this precaution, and you're kind of like testing, probably still as like people are climbing off the beetle. Cinnabelle's things take a while to get off the beetle, and she needs to change into her ritual regalia as well.
She didn't have ritual regalia, or is she just wearing her like?
Your outfit kind of is ritual regalia to some degree, but yeah, you could probably borrow some from Cinnabelle as well.
My worry is that any cool robes would instantly become maternity wear on her. She'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, they would fit you, but they wouldn't... They would look different. At the very least.
I was gonna say ritual robes, like sweatpants and.
I was
Yeah.
thinking more like that, what is it, a moogie or something? Where it's
Yes,
just like
the moo.
fabric.
Yeah, it's just a shape now. You're just a shape.
It's just a sheet. I was
Uh,
picturing that thing with the sleeves and like the front and back bit. It's just a draping, and I was like, that would be cool. And then I was like, oh no, she'd look like hippie mom.
Zoe, fire centipede now.
yes, fire centipede. While you're doing this, you kind of like test it. Well, while they're doing this, Ocean's having this whole conversation with Cinnabelle, trying to get something that would fit and look good. You're doing the testing of Mold Earth, and then you notice something off into the forest. You can actually see the fire centipede. It is preoccupied right now. It appears to be eating a troll.
Let's go.
So you're perfectly fine. For now.
It is indisposed.
Yeah. So you can.
We've learned its favourite food. Now we just need to kill a troll every time we get past it.
Drag a troll along for ritual sacrifice.
Yep. Speaking of ritual sacrifice, you get to the camp, and there is definitely trepidation at more people entering, large people entering, overtly religious people entering. You know that the Spiderkin left due to, well, a religious persecution, due to disagreements and things. So there's definitely, while they didn't seem too bothered by you guys' presence before, this they're not absent, but they're not visible usually. There is a very uncomfortable air around the camp, with Cinnabelle's presence and the two priests.
Could I ask one of the Spiderkin, like, if they're like hiding or something? Can I try and get a message to old lady Spiderkin
Sure.
that we've brought the professionals to do the thing?
Cool. You can head through towards the inside of the ruins. You ready to head down?
Suppose so.
Were we going to alert the High Priestess that we're here?
It
We
is a
don't want her
question.
coming upon us halfway through.
Uh-huh. This is a question. Do you want to talk to her beforehand?
Ogden votes no.
Ashal votes indifference, probably not. Ashal votes.
So it's on Ocean. You have a vote for no
Well-
and a vote for Meh on Talk to the Priestess.
I think the Lamia would have a vote too.
She would rub at like the headdress that is perched atop her clouds of hair. I think we might have a smoother deal of it not talking to her, to be entirely honest. I have interacted with her before, admittedly before her blessed ascension. They were not exactly pleasant conversations.
Way down and be swift about it. As swift as rituals can be.
Yes, I'm sure it'll be perfectly swift and not slow at all. You make your way down into the first chamber of the ruins, and she immediately starts setting down things. In a very slow and deliberate way. Starting to draw new wards, something the attendants assist on, drawing in elvish script on the walls in silver paint on the end of delicate brushes. Perfume is sprayed in the air. Clean, purified water is utilized, and a humming ritual does begin. And before it truly starts, Cinnabelle does turn and like, of course, understand that this place is probably not going to be very happy about our presence, and might not be happy about the ritual taking place. Me and these priestesses need to remain focused. And Oshun, you may focus with us if you wish. Or you can help protect us from what inevitably crawls out of the shadows.
Bogdan gets his poleaxe ready and looks to Shaw and says, I hope you have some battle magic this time.
I am more than capable of dispatching a few shadows.
Very well.
I would like to contribute to the purification to get this done as quickly as possible. And I trust that if you need me, you will tap me on the shoulder and I will assist you as best I can defending us.
I can say with some confidence, Oshun, that if
Struggle to tap my shoulder.
you're not wrong,
I shall mumble. I can assure you that if we need your assistance, we're probably in trouble either way.
I shall just mumbles. Itch.
Okay. In the dark chamber, the ritual begins. Wards of silver begin to glow, and the priests begin to sing. Quiet songs that are of an old and arcane nature. And from the dark and glistening walls of the cavern, the shadows themselves start to pull and shift, uncomfortable with the difference. There's gonna be a roll for initiative. When the map loads, of course. No. Well, this is a little more epic than what I needed, but you know what, it'll do. Yeah, it's a banger, and that's what matters. Okay.
Where's
Initiative.
my hot wife?
She's on here.
Just to the.
Oh, there she is. Ah,
My
She's so
my thing is not loading yet, so give me a sec. It's having some trouble. Are we missing someone? We're missing Oshun.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Ugh.
I was just captivated by this hot snake.
This is why I gave the option to just vibe. Come on, roll 20. Come on, roll 20. You can do it. There we are. We only need a little bit of the dungeon. Come on. Come on, old girl. Come on. You can do it. Ah, there we are. It'll do. It's still a little janked up, but it'll do. There we go. This should be fine. All right. Are we? I still need initiative from Ocean.
I'm hunting about, casting about for where we might be on this.
You are at the top left.
Okay, cool.
Guys, I gotta go. A robot just called me about my car warranty. It's urgent.
Very urgent.
Ah, there we are. See, the thing about dyslexia, when you say left, I go right. I was like, where is it?
Did you know that right is not left?
Sometimes no. Or sometimes I think right, then I go left, and I'm like...
Oh, that's the worst. Especially when someone, like, watches and calls you out on it. Well, you got a great initiative roll. What would you like to do? Bear in mind, of course, you've had multiple long rests. So all of your stats are rejuvenated. Right now you see no actual monsters coming at you, but the place is... the place is reacting to the ritual. What would you like to do, Ocean?
I'm going to keep an eye and sort of, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out a knife. I'm not going to ready the spiritual weapon just yet.
Ah, the ritual is ready. Shing. The stiletto knife.
They are usurper elves, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Ashal.
I am going to prepare Mind Sliver for the first thing that looks at me wrong.
Good. Let me know when you see something that looks at you wrong.
Oh, I see something that looks at me wrong.
Go ahead and ping
I
it.
see.
Oh, you little sneaks.
Literal shadows in the shape
And
of elves pulling and grabbing their ways out of the walls and starting to slowly lurk closer. Go ahead and ping Mind Sliver for me. And tell me your spell save DC. Oh, it's on there. Hey. Intelligence save. It's actually going to fail. It's going to take that damage.
Good.
Which one did you attack?
This one, it would be the first one that Ashal sees.
Excellent. Okay. Next up is them. They are mostly, though, just moving right now. They're slow and sluggish at first because they have to pull their way out of the wall, but then they are going to immediately start rushing towards the ritual that is taking place, that is drawing light into the darkness. Bogdan! Man, you got a 2 initiative.
Yeah, I was really prepared. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have reached, so I'm going to commence the stab upon that person.
Mm-hmm.
stab.
Commence the stab.
Commence the stabbing! That's a hit.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Dang!
it's a slightly rough strike, and it hits the thing pretty heavy. Of course, it being a shade, while it reacts and kind of gets hazy as you bring your blade through it, it doesn't cut it as it would a man.
I am no man.
I'm a little shadow.
Hey, that's me.
Ocean! Shadows are surrounding the ritual. And also coming for a Charlotte, it seems.
I can't flank with anyone just yet, so I will, in fact, summon my spiritual weapon. And
Okay.
please allow me to hug.
Where is it going to go?
I would like to go for D-swang. D.
Hold. Stay on target.
D-swang!
Okay. It misses as the spiritual weapon coalesces and starts spinning wildly at the shadow. It does miss, but that's okay.
Can I throw a knife, please?
Yes, you can.
I never miss with my...
You always miss with your spiritual weapon.
I always miss with my
Well, it's
spiritual
because
weapon.
it has a +3 attack. It's not plugged in, is it?
I usually spiritual weapon my miss.
Your laptop died?
It literally
Do you want me to roll a d20?
I can roll your knife for you if you want.
Thank you.
I just need to open up your character sheet. Oh, Zoe, why is there so much smutty fan fiction on your character sheet?
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
What?
You're besmirching my reputation.
That's what we do here. You miss, by the way. Cling, 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 cling. Ashal!
I
As
swear
the
to
shadows-
God, Ocean better give birth. It's the only fucking excuse.
Okay, as Charles is going to wheel round and look at the rest of the battlefield, and again, like half muttering under their breath, will say, "We need to keep them off the priestesses."
Ashal is the character who's like speaking into the announcement system when you're doing a mini game.
Yeah. And I will put I will cast Maelstrom, and I will cast it like there just to pull this one off the
Away,
priestess.
yeah, if it fails. Which it does. It rolled a 2 on strength.
Good. My bonus action, as I do that, gives me 10 foot of movement, and then 1, 2, 3, 4,
I
5,
declare a thunder.
just interposing myself between this priestess and this shadow creature.
Aww.
You fade, like, as you go through the scythe in the air, like recoalesces behind you. The shadow creature will kind of be staggered back and kind of moves in a way that almost suggests a screaming face, but it's all way too vague. It sneezes aggressively. And
Yeah,
is gonna
and-
retaliate. What's your armor class, Ashal?
Let me just have a look at my armor class. My armor class is 10, Ollie.
It rolled a 9. So this very awkward, like, grapple starts here as it reaches for you and you just barely, like, you're having a fight with a living shadow and just keeping it from, like, actually sapping it your strength. This one here will attack the priest and will just barely hit. And you see a lot of the energy fade from this priest here. A chill runs through them and they start speaking slower and less loudly and less convicted.
Shit.
Bogdan.
Okay. 2, 3. I'm gonna attack. I have advantage.
Mhm.
Yes. No.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
They give enough of a stuff to give you advantage. That's a hit. It's massive damage. Doesn't take it down.
Okay. Well, that I don't know. I don't know if I've sufficiently taunted, and that priestess doesn't look good. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it now. I'm gonna action surge.
Hell yeah.
Still advantage.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. You just keep nearly getting natural 20s and it not working. That's a hit though.
Yeah. I'm aware. Hey, but I did another 11.
With that other action of high damage, and like it's definitely difficult fighting shades. There's no physical tactile resistance, but eventually it just doesn't reapparate, and disappears enough to no longer pose a threat to the priestess.
Okay. Let me get my handy dandy ruler out. Okay, I think I'm gonna do another 10 feet of movement to go there, and then I'm done.
Okay. Ocean. Shade is now tackling Ashal.
I hope I can reach. I
How much movement do you have in your Rosie?
Yeah, everything's still having a bit of a struggle. I thought 30, so I just can't do it.
Well, I don't think it's going to be 40, so I don't think.
Yeah,
you're
you've
gonna
got
get
30 movement.
Yeah. So from here, I'm gonna take a stab.
Sure.
And at the moment, the character sheet is not loading.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do a stab. I'll do one on your behalf.
Thank you for stabbing on my behalf.
That's what friends are for. Yeah. Okay. That.
And now, because it's Ollie, you can just give me a good roll.
It's a hit.
Yay!
5 gang.
It is 5 gang. Confirmed.
I had forgotten this plague.
You can stab into the shade, but of course, it's stabbing into air. It reacts, but it doesn't bleed.
Okie dokie. Toll the dead, if I can.
No,
You've
that's
just
not-
used your action, so you cannot.
Can I?
You can attack with your spiritual weapon. That's a bonus action to move it and attack with it.
I can do that.
Okay, you're gonna move it within attack range of the shade here.
Yep. Let me roll that thingy.
I think you would have advantage on
You would have advantage.
have advantage on that. Spiritual weapon doesn't give
5 gang.
Cursed, forbidden, 5 gang.
In that case, I'll just roll it.
Send it back to roll with advantage.
Oh, that is an advantage.
No,
But it isn't because the engine works differently when you roll it with actual advantage. This is what we do. This is why we do Ericking. And have
I still really don't like that.
there you go.
Hey.
This is what happens when we follow the rules. Go ahead and roll damage.
It's level 2.
It's good damage too. Unlike your physical weapons, weak against such spiritual entities, the scythe cuts the shade in twain.
And I can look impressive in front of my big girlfriend.
And is there any other meaning to life? No, I say. No, says Moscow. It belongs to the people. Okay, I shall.
That'll do. Mental spear
That'll
on
do.
on the last ugly thing over there.
Rude.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Just for that, it's going to pass. No, it rolled as well. Just barely, though. Just barely rolled. Enough
When
to
you
resist.
bring rudeness into the conflict.
Next is the actual shades themselves. I accidentally...
Go ahead and kill me. Just don't be rude about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have no power.
Actually, it's
here.
go back to the shadows from the Balrog, isn't it?
Yeah, the no power here.
Yeah, it's Saruman.
Yeah.
Ashal, you're going to be grabbed by the shadow. No, Ocean, I mean. Wrong
I was
one.
about to say that.
Wait!
that's
Ocean!
That's a confusion.
What's your AC right now?
Oh no, it's 14.
It's not a hit. It would have been a hit if it was a Shal. It wasn't here to get down so soon. So that's nice. You get to live a little longer. Bogdan, as more shades are coming from the walls.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that, but I'm gonna intercept this one and give it the old slickaroony.
Ew.
Oh, I accidentally had advantage. Let me reroll that.
Forbidden! That's a hit.
Servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame
Yeah.
of honor, dark fire shall not avail
Yes.
you. Shade of Urun.
Yes, that's the one.
You.
Fucking nerds. Honestly, like.
So yeah,
come
6
on.
damage.
Yeah, 6 damage after 3. Pretty okay. For a baby. Okay.
For a baby.
Alright, I'm done.
Yeah, Ocean, it's your turn. There's a shade right at you, trying to sort of.
Is there any way that I can like?
There's no way you can get advantage on that. There's no one else
I'm
next to
trying
it.
to maneuver.
You could
like-
maneuver your. If you maneuvered your spiritual weapon above, it would get advantage. You wouldn't. Because it
Okay.
can get advantage, it doesn't give advantage, because it's not stopping any one move. But
I
you are
can
stopping
clarify-
it, the enemy move.
How can I select?
You should just be able to click on it and move it.
Doesn't have permissions. What I can
Wow,
see.
that's forbidden. You're right, though. It's true. For some reason, it doesn't.
That's because the magic is secretly communicating with the DM. The magic is the DM's will.
Alright, roll me an attack for the spiritual weapon with advantage. Legally.
That's the first time I've ever done anything legal.
That's a hit.
Yay! Yeah, right.
It's devastating damage to the shade, though, because of it also being magical. It completely shrinks back and has to stagger back and almost like grab at its like spectral form after the
That's-
strike.
It's got that like heart, but it's like.
Yeah, Ashal. Unless you want to do no, I shouldn't. You have still have an action. What do you want to do? Poof.
Shit!
Spiritual weapon is just a bonus.
I blow on it to try and make it dissipate. Nah, I'll take another hit.
You don't have advantage on this one. Just a knife.
Knife. You can't spiritual weapon.
Darn.
Yes, the spiritual weapon has already attacked. The dagger hits.
Visible by 5 gang.
We when we get this far.
I stab.
5 gang.
I stab Bogdan, please, please.
I bite
I'll
my
accept the
thumb at
damage for
thee.
5 gang.
Ashal!
Mind Sliver.
On the one between Ocean and her
Yes.
spinning blade. It's going to just barely fail and apparate away.
Just gonna stay here in case anything more slinks out of anyone.
You can see right now, it's very dark, but the way that the light is radiating from both Cinnabel and the ritual, the shadow is very, almost like pooling to the bottom of the walls like ink, and there's not much of that thick shadow left, that glossy umbral presence on the wall, will the last little bit coalesce into jittery shadows with all of the hopes on this place left within them. One is going to attack at Bogdan. What's your armor class? Never mind! It ain't hitting it! And the others are just going to advance. Cinnabella's gonna look back. Darling!
Coming.
Bogdan!
Oh boy, here I go slicking again. Making sure I'm not on advantage. All right. That's what I get for following the rules. That's it. That's me.
That's your turn. Having a jaunty fight with the shade here. Ocean.
I'm gonna immediately fling the spiritual weapon over towards the one nearest Cinnabon.
Cool.
Why do you curse me, Jakin?
What would you like to
Listen,
do with
you've
your
got a
action?
better roll than me.
It's true.
Ah! Yes!
Is that the one beside you?
The one at Cinnabel.
Just throwing it. That's a hit.
Yeah. Nice.
Of course, the dagger goes through it, and the shade's like down at itself.
Shit. I'm sorry. I forgot. I should have told the dead. I just panicked, okay?
Yeah, no, panic stabbing is very appropriate. Ashar.
Twin spell.
Ooh.
Meant to be, on the one next to Ocean and the one next to Cinnabel.
Or Bogdan.
Nah.
Not a,
Bogdan
part,
can handle
not a
it.
part of this fun land.
Bogdan's got it. I'll handle it. Focus
Alright.
on the objective.
One fails, one succeeds. The one on Cinnabel fails, taking the full psionic damage. Just starts grabbing its head and rocking. The other one doesn't do anything. This one's actually stunned, so excellent.
Good.
One attacking Bogdan. Oh, it's got a chance. What's your AC?
17.
It hits a 17.
I would like to cast shield.
It doesn't hit a 22?
22.
Shield. Yeah, as soon as the grasping hands of the shade get close, you could bring up the
brick wall.
The brick wall of force. Just like a mime, like a perturbed mime, cursed forever. The other one is going to reach for Oshun and is going to hit. It's going to roll trash. It's going to deal 4 necrotic damage, but the very touch of the shade saps the strength from your muscles. Your strength score is going to be temporarily reduced by 4 points.
That's why I cast shield.
I'm glad these things aren't hitting me. It would only take 2 hits.
It would not be long for a child to just die if he was grabbed by these things.
2 hits, and I would be.
Ocean's just got to clench her pelvic.
I'd like to point out that it cut out for stream after you said clench your pelvic. What is Ocean clenching? Well, that would be a Patreon reward for $5 or more. Okay. Cinnabel is trying to reach the final crescendo of the ritual, but there is that shade stunned, but still potentially risky to her. Bogdan.
I just had an idea, but I already used my action search, and I think this is an action. Let me double check. Yes, it's an action. Nuts. I guess I'll just keep clapping back. That's a better roll.
It's a hit. Absolutely. It's a hit twice over. It's great damage. Like, you're rolling really well for damage, which is good considering it's halved.
Okay. That's me.
Ocean. The one by Cinnabelle is stunned. The one by you has started to sap your strength. Which one are you going to be targeting?
The one by Cinnabelle.
It's going to fail, and it's going to, as the bell tolls, just vanish. Shade sent back to a peaceful rest.
That's that big damage too.
Yeah, it was the big damage.
Eat shit. Go to eternal rest.
Eat shit, I love you.
Eat shit and rest peacefully.
Exactly. The whole character of Oshun.
Do you want to do anything with your spiritual weapon?
Yeah. This one.
Is it within range?
Oh, shoot.
1, 2. How far can you move in? Scroll down.
If it's 30 feet, you're not within range, just barely. This stream is brought to you by me. If you like it, subscribe to the Patreon, join the Discord, etc., etc. There we go.
Yeah.
One day I'll work out a better advertising bit for the dead air, but that's all you get for now.
No,
Yeah,
that's not
that's not
going to make it. 1, 2,
Alright.
3, 4. No, it's not going to make it. Can be moved up to like here.
You could attack the one at Bogdan's with your range.
3, 4. Yeah, good. You don't have anything else really.
Cantrips.
Yeah. But you've used your cantrip. This is your bonus action.
Of course. In that case, you're right. I will take the one going at Bogdan.
You can see that there's plenty of consideration before I make this decision.
Cool.
I will do that.
This one won't have advantage.
Oh no, Neil's had a realization in chat, which is hilarious, by the way. That's a hit. It's a hit. Not a miss.
I've got to reprimand Neil.
You will do no such thing.
Neil is now beyond your control.
There's no 5 gang on 5 king violence in this stream.
There should be. Would you like to roll damage for the spiritual weapon?
Yes. Oh, I thought I had. I'm so sorry. Not quite 5. I'm infected.
You did that one to yourself. No one else was going to do that. The weapon strikes and scratches the shade, but doesn't bring it down as Charles.
I am Mind Sliver. I don't know if these things do appear to be a bit nasty. I'm gonna mental spear the one next to Ocean. Use my last.
It's just barely gonna fail. They have a negative to intelligence, and it really hurts them. But this one has not actually been damaged yet, so it can withstand the full force. And like, this is such a powerful strike. You can't usually often see Eshar spells, but you do see. Especially because the magical shifting happening here, you can kind of see the shockwave of it being hit psionically around the head. It is going to...
Is she bigger than me?
You're both large-sized creatures, but I made you slightly less large, just so for cuteness. Ashal, you are... Your AC is 10, right?
Correct.
You are just barely able to dodge the swipe from the shade. Again, Again.
What is up with this? This happened with Amaryllis as well. The freaking dragon missed Amaryllis's 12 AC like repeatedly.
Ian, you have no right to be alive right now.
I don't. Literally, I've got 10 AC. It's attacked me twice. 2 hits would have just outright killed me.
Yeah. Bogdan is also missed by the shades. So the fight continues.
It didn't move out of your...
It's still within your range. It went like through you.
My largeness.
Bogdan.
My largeness.
Oh boy, here I go poking again. The kids are getting rowdy downstairs, so I'm gonna mute.
Yeah, this will be we're nearly at the end of this arc. Merely the shades must be banished and peace brought back to this accursed place. That's a hit.
That was a hit. Yeah.
And it is just enough to banish the shade there. Ocean, there's one between you and Ashal. What would you like to do?
Okay, then I also moved up to next to a shawl, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Can I toll the dead again?
Yes.
I'm gonna toll the fuck out of these.
Whoa!
Toll the dead!
Ocean has a hot girlfriend and suddenly starts dropping F-bombs all over the place. The sound strikes through the air, but the creature just barely resists it.
You bitch.
Ashal.
If I had punching fists, I would punch that spirit right in its stupid
Take levels
head.
in Monk.
Right?
It's
becoming more and
a
more
miss. It's gonna take the damage. It has 5 HP.
5 gang!
There is a final spell from Ashal. And it feels as if the darkness has been lifted. It's not like light comes to the place. It is a dark hole in the ground with no sun or aether in sight. But the shadows are less cloying. The umbral manifestations of terror within the walls seem to be pacified, and the depths themselves are being reshackled by wards, but wards that can be more easily controlled by the inhabitants if they so wish. Place has a peace brought to it, which means your work here is done, essentially. For now.
I think Oshun will check on Cinnabelle, make sure everything's okay, nobody's exhausted, nobody's having a hernia.
Cinnabelle's fine. The priest beside her got struck by one of the shades, and is very, very tired and in pain. Well, not even in pain, in like weariness. They're weary. But they'll recover in time. Yeah.
Here, have a fucking cracker. Have a treat. Something.
Eat something. Exactly. And I suppose the next question is, in broad terms, what are you guys going to do next? I don't mean in the next hour in universe, I mean in the next weeks. Are you going to go and do the quest that the Mad Priestess requested, fetching the last map that tells of this place from House Nor so it can be destroyed? Or are you going to return to Orkshua and tell her what has happened in this place and maybe fetch a new job? What's the plan?
I think this is a good place to have this talk before we go
Yes.
anywhere.
Before I need to plan the next session.
Yeah. I read between those lines.
Yeah.
I am interested in pursuing what the priestess would like and nipping it in the bud, because if we go there and we find this thing is to be stopped, then we can stop it and hopefully not be manipulated into making it come to pass. if we do not get involved, we can assume that she would find a way anyway.
So you want to play both sides?
Oh, I always play both sides, darling.
Cinnabella's encouraging her.
Are we certain that we can get a handle on whatever this is?
It's very likely that it could be beyond our means.
That's the priest. The priest is
That was-
very upset.
That's so cute.
Yeah. It's a mood, though. What was the question? That the things will be beyond your means?
Yeah.
What do you think, Ashal?
I am hesitant to acquiesce to anything the priestess wants. I do not believe her desires are in the best interests of anything apart from perhaps her own twisted vanity.
I think she's genuinely motivated by this voice, which may be our own goddess. And if it's not, then I am deeply unsettled by something that is capable of passing itself off as a goddess to a devotee.
Yes, it is very troubling. I believe if the Mad Priestess is an obstacle, an adversary, and she desires an object, we should procure it. It will at the very least give us leverage.
Yes. By the
And
way,
that way, if we have the object, she can't send someone else to fetch it.
they're crawling all over you.
Water crawling is are my children just very loud.
Yeah, we
So cute.
can. I lost the thread of that now.
So cute.
What I'm saying is, we should, if whether or not we do it on behalf of the Mad Priestess, we should get the thing she wants so that we have it.
Exactly.
Cinnabelle will agree, actually. Because she's still here, for now. And will state that if she wishes for you to fetch something and destroy it, having it close to your chest would be a valuable asset. The princeling thinks correct.
I agree. Although I hesitate to leverage anything, I say
One thing at a time.
decisive action.
Let's get it first. Then
Yeah.
we decide what to do with it.
Precisely.
I am increasingly convinced that what the priestess hears is not your goddess. I am increasingly convinced that she walks a path of destruction and darkness.
Well,
I do not even know if she believes it to be her goddess.
I think those are the kind of observations that I rely on you for. However, being of the faith ourselves, considering that something could pass itself off as the voice of our goddess is no small thing, especially since she is in fact ascended. So
There are many powers in this
globe,
realm and in others. Why do you assume that ascension can only be brought about by your goddess?
that is precisely what I was afraid of. But it's simply arrogant to assume that our ascension is correct and hers is not.
Oh, correct does not factor into this. Danger to the fabric of reality does.
Oh, well, that might be a little excessive.
We are standing in a place that in the bottom layers had a Ollie, what's the word for the it's the
Manifestations.
Manifestation.
Oh. I didn't know what you were reaching for. I was like, surely Ian remembers the word hag. No, yeah, you're right, for sure.
We stand in a place where a manifestation zone could be switched on by me, who had first walked into the place a few hours before. I believe that the fabric of reality is very much in danger.
I agree with you. However, this place is simultaneously the spot where the mad were victimized for who knows how long. Whatever is playing upon these sensitive people, including the priestess, is something that has to be reckoned with.
Since we're talking conjecture and theory, Ashral, do you think that the mirror city above Narushiro has something to do with the Mad Priestess's voice in her head?
From what she said to me when we met in these catacombs, I believe this was a path walked by the Daimao, probably heretical, probably unrelated to that, unless the Daimao planned the destruction of Narashiro, or at least its endangerment.
I mean,
that is a stretch even for my conjecture.
Did you ever meet the Daimao when you spoke with the priestess, Annabelle? I have never spoken to her.
I have been at the same functions. I can speak on conjecture. Lathura Dorneb, the last Daimao, was a schemer. That is why she was perfect to lead our culture. But there were many schemes that all interwove as a web would, as quite befitting. There were even crazed rumors that she was working with the last cohort artificer to become immortal, but such things were ultimately quashed when the artificer turned to the other side and all of her creations had to be destroyed.
I have spent a long time in caves, it seems. Literally under a rock.
Well, this has all been an interesting thought puzzle. But the fact remains, we need to get the map.
Yes. Cinnabelle, is there any way we can send a quick message to our contractor?
I can cast such a spell. I don't believe I'm terribly aware of your patron.
Oh goodness, yes. We weren't we told to?
Yeah, she needs to be familiar to send the sending, and she's not familiar with Alkshua.
This is what she looks like.
It's not enough.
Here, you float. Do your best impression.
Yeah, she needs a picture and then 2 forms of identification.
Needs to do a capture.
If not, if not her herself, you could. Are there those in Ebimaro that you could communicate with?
I don't have the most interactions with your kind. But there are those in Cavanari I could trust to send a message. It would get there quicker than if you were to send it by beetle.
Dope.
I just realized this whole time, Ashar has had a little extraplanar robot
Yep.
strapped
Oh
to his
my
chest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
By the
remembered
way-
that. I just didn't bring it up.
By the way, Ashal, what is that?
Jack.
By the way, Ashal, the fuck?
I can send a message. The message is only coherent if it is within 25 words or less. If you would like to plan one out for me, I can have it sent.
Ulkshua, located Spiderkin under the fuck.
That's
Under
6.
the fuck.
No, it's not the. When casting it, you can't stumble.
Under leadership.
Under the rule of
Mad Priestess.
I just cut out the.
Mad Priestess is all we know.
is all we know.
And I mean, Ultra will
Yeah.
know who the Mad Priestess
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
If the Mad Priestess had a real a birth name, it is lost to time as far as people know. Finding her previous name is a genuine course of action you guys could take, but it wouldn't be easy.
Hell yeah, I'm up for that. The Mad Priestess
Mad with a H in the middle.
makes it like 3 syllables.
You can have as many syllables as you want. Is on. What are you counting? Are you counting in your head how many words you've done?
I'm spitballing in case
Oh,
anyone else wants to.
So-
All right. When you have
Well,
a
we're-
message,
what-
we
what-
count.
What are we trying to tell it?
What we're doing, what we are going to do,
And what we've done.
she-
All right.
if she has any like, no, don't do that.
Now,
Then
forgive me. And she looks at Bogdan for a moment, and then back to Ocean.
It is going crazy downstairs. Hang on.
Oh,
This-
so cute.
Is usurper elf and spiderkin business? How much do you want to have the Ebamari be involved?
Well, one of the missions was to locate the Spiderkin, and I can only assume that their well-being and the deeper machinations of threat and subterfuge.
And no disrespect to your sovereignty, but we only came to this place on the behest of Ulkshua.
Oh, I believe it, but if we are to be finding, or if you are to be finding, of course, I would not dare go near a samurai village at grave danger to myself. Do you want to tell us a bit about the map, the secret map? That's very important, because it's secret. Because you probably shouldn't have even told me, honestly.
Yes,
I'm
Yeah, we
terrible
probably
at
shouldn't have told you.
secrets.
Now we have to kill you.
Ashal, eat her brain.
Ashal canonically says this.
I think that was canon, and I think Citadel
We
just
all
laughs.
Was that a
Citadel.
joke?
Pets through.
What is the name of the map?
Super secret scary map?
Don't have a name.
It's just a map.
You just know that it is
Here we go.
somewhere within the House of Nor.
Oh,
Found and secured spiderlings.
Alright.
Spiderlings under
Leadership.
leadership of Mad Priestess.
Yeah, that's 10.
Mad Priestess wants map We will acquire map, send, and then the last, well, I mean, we still have 6 words, but send, instead of send, please advise.
Yeah, that's good. That could be sent off.
Lots of little applause for Bogdan.
Yep.
Most is
Yeah. That Cinnabelle can cast sending to diplomatic Havamari to send that message off to Abamaro. It'll still take time, but Bogdan knows that Oxua can cast sending. So when Oxua gets a message, Oxua can instantly respond to it. So
now we attempt to locate and infiltrate a samurai house. There are other reasons I am not fond of this plan, but one of them is that I do not wish to be filleted.
There's nothing much to fill it, darling. And it's filet.
Ah.
Well, we already know a samurai.
We don't know, actually. I suppose we do one of House North.
Perhaps we should escort Lady Cinnabelle and her comrades back to the city before we continue.
We do know a samurai of House North, the Shogun.
Is that who?
Was it the
is
Shogun? Was that his title? I forget. Yeah.
Is that the one who was from the Sunday game and is now?
We met them in.
You met them in Kavanari. The Shogun is a samurai with a dragon mask and advanced technology.
Nice. Well, we still have to make the acquaintance of
What, Rakath?
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, yes, Rakath is quite close with House Nor, and if we're talking behind closed curtains, meant to be quite a good thief.
Ooh.
I'm sure if you explained... I don't know how much you know about the gentleman, despite the absolutely revolting appearance, which is unforgivable, of course. They are...
Rude, darling.
I'm a bitch. That may not be canon. I don't know. Rakath has been moving to shift. Well, I suppose the most appropriate term would be the rights of people, and grant the people more rights in Narashiro. If this is all the benefit of refugees who have few rights and could have more, I am sure that the half-Fomorian Black Hand could work with you, and is much better with secrets than I.
Oh, she's just having memories. Just like, oh shit.
As Charlotte at this point is considering, how subtly can I escape this group?
You're our friend now. You love us now.
I'm suddenly missing that dank cave I spent half my life in. Things as Charles.
That was a dank cave. I'll never do that again.
Anytime dank comes up, everyone does it. The word is ruined, but it's a good D&D word, damn it.
That and moist. Anyway.
That could be a plan. If you wanted to communicate with and perhaps get the aid of Rakath, it was more intimately familiar with this place, that could be something you acquire on your way back to Narashiro. Just drop Cinnabelle off and...
Let's do it.
Okay. Alrighty. Looks like you got a plan ahead of you. Well, we'll see you next week then, as you go back to the city and maybe get some aid for a heist.
I would like Charles to do that thing where you cast about for consciousness, just in case. We probably should have done this before we talked about our plan or anything, because she could be anywhere, and I don't like it.
Yes, we
Oh.
are the big dumb. Yeah, we are the big dumb, but that's okay.
Head empty.
I mean, I can.
You can't anymore. Session's over.
Oh, but I want to.
No, session's over. Shut us down.
I'm gonna roll it.
I do not see it. Okay.
If if the D8 rolls on the board, no one is there to see it. Does it even fucking...
Only if it rolls a 5.
Okay. All right. It's over. Session over.
Go home!
Go home! No, we have to talk about how you can give me money. We can't possibly end it here without that statement. It's very important. Thank you for joining us for today's session. As part of the story is wrapped up and more parts are unwrapped, as is inevitable towards the heat death of an unfeeling universe. But there is always more out there, and so I go to Jaken. Tell me about... I know that your show actually runs now after a hiatus, so that's good.
Yeah, we actually had a session last Sunday, and it was great. And we're going to have another one this Sunday. My show is called Dire Roll. It's over at twitch.tv/JakenZol. And yeah, every Sunday from 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time for about 3 to 4 hours, usually 4. Sometimes we go longer for in combat. We're playing a space fantasy kind of setting, soft sci-fi, using the Alternity system. And it's a lot of fun. And yeah, we're about to start a new adventure, so it's a great time to jump in if you guys want to tune in.
Hell yeah.
And as always, thanks Ollie for having me. It's been a blast. I'm looking forward to more.
Hell yeah. All right. Now we get to the troublemakers. Because Jacob would never cause any trouble with any kind of meme or anything of the sort. Ian and Zoe, how are you? What's up?
Ian and Zoe.
I prefer Zoe and Ian.
Zoe and Ian.
Zoe and Ian is probably better, but Ian's on the left on my screen, and I read left to right.
If you want more of Jarviskjir, I mean, go to Ollie's YouTube for one thing. There's a lot of it. But also, if you want more weekly Jarviskjir, then subscribe to Ollie's Patreon for $5 a month, and you get me and Neil, who is no longer with us on this campaign. But
He's not dead.
Well, Tumulus is dead.
yeah, Tumulus is very dead. But Neil is very much not dead on the Monday, the Monday podcast only game, which is a lot more traditional D&D. Like this week, we accidentally collapsed a cave during a civil war between two types of like underground fish people.
I did a
And
rocks
then-
fall and everyone dies. They rolled 3 ones in a 6-second period, not like a turn of combat in a row in 6 seconds. So rocks falls and everyone dies. It's just.
And then I very nearly did get killed by the falling rocks. I was on 1 hit point. And I didn't even roll one of the ones.
Yeah, the Waters of Tron is the name of the Monday Patreon campaign. There's also other campaigns on Patreon for $5 more a month. There's also a couple that are available for just anyone. If you're like, yeah, I'm a little bit curious, you can listen to some random of it on there. This show is supported by Patreon, and the channel is supported by subs and bits, etc. You can also follow me on Twitter, where there is a little bit more news about miniatures projects, including Schism. Schism is a board game series set in Jarviskjir. There are going to be, especially as it continues, connections to events that are happening in the campaign, although most of Schism is going to be set significantly before this. Zoe is, of course, working on a lot of that, both writing for the games and helping us out for marketing things, because Zoe is a dear.
Board Game Geek, I'm the best. We're just very excited about the whole thing, and soon we will have like our own physical ones to test, and then after that it'll be free for everyone to try. And I'm
At
super
cost.
excited.
Free for the low price.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But you pay for that game.
And yeah, you can come chat with me on Board Game Geek if you have any questions about anything. The minis are super dope. We're trying our best to be like, is it zero waste? Because companies are supposed
As
to be
much as eco-friendly as possible in the hellscape of the modern world. We're trying as much as we can.
Yeah. And yeah, lots of cool plans for minis, which are good to integrate with your own D&D games.
They're good D&D
Everything's
minis.
amazing. Super excited. Schism.
I also stream here. I also stream on Fable Scraps. Here, I've been doing a lot of industry-based games. Tuesdays, Thursdays, weekends. Sometimes. Definitely appreciate it. We have, you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff. And we can also sometimes talk about the stuff that we're doing on these shows then. Also, I'm on Fable Scraps on Fridays, which I run a Warhammer 40k game at 11 p.m. BST. It's a lot of fun. Those are some really cool peeps, and sometimes you can find me on their channels as well. We're all over the place. Join me on the Discord to get the lowdown on... Do people still say that? The lowdown? To find out about what's going on, and we'll see you next week. Perhaps with a special guest.
Everyone do your shocked face, and then the credits will roll, and we'll be like that, like, cop show or whatever, or 90s sitcoms.
All right, bye.